Now we can do news of the week.
I don't even know.
I guess we're segueing into news of the week, talking about Gennady-Golovkin and talking about Justo Chavez Jr. Let's pivot hard right there and continue on the Canelo-Golovkin discussion, because that's what this is all about. Who, what, where, when, why. First of all, let's start with, are they actually going to fight? De La Hoya has stated, Golden Boy Promotions CEO, as reported by Boxing Scene, Golden Boy CEO Oscar De La Hoya, who promotes Saul Canelo Alvarez, expects the rematch to happen in September. This is what he had to say. Canelo has announced that he will be tested by VADA, but what a lot of people don't know is that he began testing several times by the Nevada Athletic Commission. They tested him 2 days ago. I think they're testing them today as well. But what he wanted to enroll in the year-round testing. Yeah, right. Whatever. It's all bullshit. De La Hoya went on to say, I think Canelo has been affected here a bit in the U.S., but guess what? I've always said you're as good as your last fight. Canelo is fine, though. He wants to fight. He wants to keep proving that he's innocent, to keep proving that it was an innocent mistake, what took place. And it's funny, I've traveled to Mexico quite a few times now, and they ask people, why, to go to the donkey show? What do you think about the news about Canelo? And they're like, what news? With all the animosity now, guess what? The fight is going to be even bigger. I'm 75% sure. 75% sure. Confident that. I'm 75. What a stupid sentence, Oscar.
He says it all the time.
Were you fucking drunk already? I'm 75% sure. Confident that. Did he really? Like, is this a direct quote? Like, this doesn't. I'm going to read it verbatim. I'm 75% sure, comma, confident that, comma, that we can get this done because the comments from Golovkin and his camp have been quite disparaging towards him. But our courts, everybody uses their own negotiation tactics. But I can say that I think I'm about 75% confident right now and happy with the process that has happened the last couple of days in terms of broader stuff. There's no cutoff date, but there will be one shortly because we need to get to work. Dude, this fight's not happening. This is all bullshit.
They don't need get to work on what? You need 5 months of promoting?
They don't.
Stop it.
They don't.
As soon as this thing gets signed, it's sold out in 20 seconds.
They're not doing the fight. Look, I'm going to tell you why Oscar said that, everybody, and then we'll talk about Canelo and his bullshit VADA testing. This fight's not going to happen. And I think everybody needs to wrap their brain around it.
Why is this, though?
You think this fight's really going to happen?
Yeah, everybody kind of needs this fight to happen, Lee. Everyone involved. You think Golovkin wants to go anywhere else?
No, he doesn't. I don't think Canelo wants to go.
No. This is going to be more of Golovkin.
No. And I think he's pissed about the shit show that... Look, and I don't blame Golovkin. Do you?
No, it's another free check.
No.
Hello, this guy.
Okay, hold on, Mr. Free Check. Hold on.
Oh,
hold on. You're in training, right? You're up against a guy. You're getting reports. Hey, I'm kind of injured. I don't know if the fight can go on. And your camp goes, hey, look, we got a date. We got a hard date. We're going to have this fight. I'm just laying this out for everybody, but this is the way it looks to me, right? They're both in training camp. Canelo gets hurt for whatever reason. He calls the other camp. Oscar fishes it out and goes, hey, look, Canelo's hurt. We might need to push this back to September. Triple G goes, look, I've been up in the mountains for the last 3 months. I'm going to have this fight. I'm going to get my payday. And then suddenly, Canelo tests dirty. If you're Gennady-Golovkin, how bitter are you?
You're bitter, but Lee, he's never going to make this type of money again. And as hot as this rematch is, he can't walk away. Lee, you're talking about a raise of a guy who's going to make around $10 million probably already for this rematch. Now he's getting a raise. I don't see them walking. People, me, as an advisor to fighters, I never walk from checks like this. You don't know when they're going to come around again, especially the age of Golovkin is and what he's shown in his last, I'll say 2 out of 3. Yes, he disposed of Vanez pretty fastly. I didn't like the right hand that Vanez was landing in the first 3 minutes, but maybe it was because Golovkin had no respect.
He stopped training for a month.
Exactly. So we'll say 2 out of 3. We'll say the 2 biggest tests of his career did not pass them with flying colors at all. Okay? So you don't skip $10 million checks. You don't. I'm also a believer that my fighter's always going to win. This is why I don't skip on money. When they're offering a good example, Deontay Wilder skipping on $7 million to fight Klitschko. Why? You don't think you're going to knock out that old man and take $7 million home? $7 million changes everything. I'm not a fan of that. And boxing history has shown time and time again, the fighters that skip on big checks like this, it usually bites them in the ass. And we're actually there's an example of this later on in the show. Go ahead, Lee.
So Golovkin's promoter is reacting to all the hubbub. Tom Loeffler, for you that don't know, is the promoter of Triple G. They've received Steve Kim reported on Tuesday of last week that Canelo Alvarez has submitted to year-round testing, which again proves my theory that he faked the drugs to get out of the fight. Can we at least all agree that Canelo Alvarez did that? He wanted out of the fight. Canelo Alvarez wanted out of the fight.
I do find it a little suspicious, Lee, that he took a surgery right after a dirty test.
And didn't show up to his hearing in Nevada? Who does that? Who doesn't show up for his test?
Well, I think the plan was already set in February when he tested dirty. When they got all those guys on a round table, Vegas, Abel, Golovkin, Loeffler, Golden Boy, when all those guys got on that round table telephone call, the plan was already set what was going to make this fight hotter. Maybe it was an injury. And it's a great theory, Lee, because you know what? Nobody wants to come out and say in one of the biggest fights, rematches, anticipated rematches in boxing, we now have a fighter with a torn ACL. Everybody knows what a torn ACL can do to a fighter in his next fight, correct? So we don't want to hear that. Gambling don't want to hear that. Bettors, nobody. Bookies, nobody. Ooh, I like that word right now. But it's so I like your theory about them, the injury happening.
It's bullshit. It's bullshit.
Faked a meat test. Come on. And then Vegas is all on board.
Canelo Alvarez faked being dirty.
Lee, if it was because he did have a significant knee injury, yes, I can see them doing that because I'm telling you that affects the whole ball game.
Sure.
The gambling, the people interested in the fight. You know, you can't sell rooms at $1,300, $1,200 a night on fight night if half the audience thinks their guy has a blown knee going in.
So he submitted, by the way, for everybody listening, based on all these reports, he's still submitted, and based on what Triple G is saying, he still hasn't taken an actual piss test yet. Which is fucking awesome. Canelo is my fucking hero.
Hey, the shit happens in life.
That is some shady-ass shit, man.
But I think everyone knows about it, though. Lee, if your theory's correct, nobody can think that an injury is going to come, right? Correct? Nobody predicts these kind of things, Lee. If an injury did happen in training, they're trying to get around that without losing money on the fight.
Right. Or taking the fight on a bad wheel. You can't take that fight on a bad wheel.
You can't. He would get knocked out in like 5 rounds. Triple G's going to come so hard in fight number 2.
Yeah.
He's coming for you in fight number 2. You have a blown knee. You can't go side to side. People, what do they always say? North to south is always cool for a guy with a torn knee. Try going east to west. All right? That's where it starts hurting. The angles, when you put those certain pressures on that knee at a certain angle, boom, it just fails on you. Go ask Sergio fucking Martinez.
Let's talk boxing numbers. Huh?
Go ahead. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Oh.
Yeah.
You
got anything else?
Fight.
There you go. Let's talk numbers. Let's start with Munguia.
Oh, HBO. Okay.
HBO viewers for Ali peaked at 779,000.
He's a star. Lee, can you believe a kid that fucking came from Tijuana? Nobody knows.
Dude, he didn't draw $1 million. Why are you touting 750,000?
Lee. Oh, are you serious? He dropped this dude 4 times, took his title like he owned him. All right, he gets $1 million in his next. Oh, Mexicans will come. Oh, believe me.
I'm disappointed now. Here, let me tell you about Munguia, though. That
overnight, you wake up as a potential prospect to Triple G. That gets killed in 24 hours of the Nevada Athletic Commission finding out. Your very next fight, 700,000 views. All right, whatever, Lee. To me, that's star. That's star. That ain't bought.
Because we're about to talk about the star, and it's Top Rank. It's Top Rank. Top Rank in the ESPN deal is the smartest thing Top Rank has ever done. Yep. I cannot literally stick my nose up the ass of Top Rank. If Top Rank had an ass, I'm telling you, I've got shit stains on my face. Top Rank, who obviously listens to the show, all of Top Rank, however many of them there are. Somebody actually, and I'm going to say it's probably the son-in-law, right? It's probably somebody had to understand what the future of boxing was and do the ESPN and the ESPN Plus app and figure it all out. But final numbers.
Odd DeBuff is the stepson.
Stepson.
Yes.
Whatever. Stepson. Yeah. All right. Lomachenko-Linares peaks at 1.7 million viewers. That's crazy. That's a full point on cable TV. That's a crazy amount of people.
In the Bay Area, that's going up there with the major 4 sports, right? It's just per team, right? It's per team if you're looking at just the team's TV ratings, but that's a pretty high number.
I'm going to say this, Top Rank, Todd DeBuff, probably Todd, and probably somebody on the technology team begged and pleaded and got this deal through to make the ESPN and the ESPN Plus deal go down. It's probably as important as the deal that Matchroom Boxing did last week with their provider. They're doing the same thing in England.
Big, yeah.
Same kind of idea, except ESPN is well established, internationally.
Oh.
Top Rank is going to be branded well. Their stars are going to be you're lucky if you're a Top Rank fighter right now. You are literally working for the A promotion.
Remarkability went through the roof.
Through the roof. You're getting 1.7 million eyes on you. Let me tell you what Lomachenko's paychecks are going to look like for the next 10 fights. They're going to be insane.
Yeah, especially even Linares won that night. Japan, the UK, and now America. He did 1.7 million views. His next fight, he gets a raise because of that.
No doubt. And I think this goes back to that ESPN package, right? Their next fight, which we're going to talk about, which is on May 26th.
They dominate. Lee, wait a minute. I got to say one thing. He did 1 million more boxing fans than HBO. 1 million. Right. HBO needs to go slap themselves somewhere.
And for people to say, well, HBO is a pay channel as compared to ESPN. Hey, listen, back down from that. All of you who even have basic cable, if you have basic cable, you probably have HBO. HBO is the most base. It's almost like a basic channel these days.
And not only that, aren't there something like 22 million subscribers?
Yeah.
So the fact that they can't draw a 1.7 viewership, come on, seriously. That's no knock on ESPN. That has everything to do with HBO's opponents they're putting in the ring right now.
Which turns to the next ESPN broadcast that Andrew and I, again, here's your opportunity to join us on May 26th. May 26th is next Saturday. It is Fresno, California. Top Rank will be putting on another ESPN card. And Andrew put this up. Do you know anything about Alexander Besputin?
He's an undefeated kid. He's an undefeated kid. We're just plugging it because we're going to be there, Lee.
Oh, you're going to watch all the fights that night, aren't you? Oh, you're in that mood. According